Hello, we're going to continue learning how to package things with Nix. If you're new to the series, I'm Elise and I do these little sections, sometimes they're a little bit longer, where we follow the official documentation so you can follow along with me. I'm learning it also, so if you do what I do, then you learn it also. So that's the idea. Today we are looking at packaging with a dependency, like where a package that you want to add has dependencies. I don't really know what that means, but we'll read and find out. So let's get started. All the links to the official documentation that we're looking at is in the description of the video, so you can go ahead and follow there. All right, so let's read. A package with dependencies. Now you will package a somewhat more complicated program, iCat, which allows you to render images in your terminal. Well, that's pretty cool. I guess cat is in concatenate, which is like just types out the file, right? But iCat, image cat. Um, Change the default .nix from the previous section by adding a new attribute for iCat. So we made this in the last video. You can ignore that advent of code. That was a different video, but I guess it just still sticks with whatever directory this was in before. Anyway, so iCat equals packages.call package, and we add icat.nix, which we did not create yet. So we'll have to create that one. Copy hello.nix to a new file, icat.nix. All right. So let me save this, and then we open up iCat. Oh, hello. And we save this as icat.nix. All right. And this was, I added there just to troll you guys, right? It was like too painful, even for me, so I will clean this up a little bit. Does that look better? You guys happier? I think I'm happier. All right. We just changed this to iCat, and we changed the version here to v0.5, and the rest is the same. Copy the file, update pname and version. We did that, and I'm checking. It looks like I did it right. Now, to download the source code, iCat's upstream repository is hosted on GitHub, so you should replace the previous source fetcher. This time you'll use fetch from GitHub instead of fetch zip by updating the argument attribute set to the function accordingly. Alright, so instead of fetch zip, we use, fetch from GitHub. GitHub. But what's the URL? Okay, well, I'll answer that. Fetching source from GitHub. While fetch_zip required URL and SHA-256 arguments, more are needed for fetch from GitHub. Yeah, like we can use this. I'm still so happy about this. Fetch from GitHub. And we get to see, I guess it gives us like some stuff, but it doesn't tell us too much. At least we can know that it exists, right? All right, we're back. The source URL is github.com, atexter, iCat, which already gives the first two arguments, owner and repo. Okay, so we're going to have to add, we'll just get rid of this. Owner equals atextor. That person is very happy with their handle. iCat is the repo. All right. Navigate to the project's tags page to find a suitable Git revision, such as the git commit hash or tag. All right, let's go there. So we're looking at icat. So if we had landed here instead, then where are the tags? It's like under releases here. You see that, right? Yeah, you can kind of see it. So I click on that. Now I have all the tags. And this tag looks like a pretty good one. There is a commit here. So we can probably use one or the other. I'll just use a commit. All right, so what did it say? In this case, the latest release tag is v0.5. As in hello example, a hash must also be supplied. This time, instead of using the empty string and letting Nix build report the correct one in an error, you can fetch the correct hash in the first place with Nix prefetch URL command. You need the SHA-256 hash of the contents of the tarball as opposed to the hash of the tarball file itself. Therefore, pass the unpack and type SHA-256 arguments. Ooh, this gets a little complicated, doesn't it? I wonder. So in Rev, well, let's do it the way they have it first, which uses this tag. But we'll try later and see if we can change it to a git commit and see if it works, unless they make us do that already. And what this was saying was you don't hash the actual tar file, but I guess it's going to untar it, unzip it, untar it, then run the hash on the contents, and that will give you a different result than obviously the compressed file on its own. So let's go ahead and try to do this. We need Nix prefetch URL. We have to pass the unpack when we do this, and then we give it the URL. And I guess you just have to know that this is how GitHub organizes its URLs. It has the owner, the project, you put in archives refs tags, and then you give it that, because I don't think clicking on this stuff gives you that. Let me see. Releases tag 0.5. Probably if I click on this, it'll just download it. So can I just get the copy the link address? What does this give me? All right, so perfect. If you right click on the source code, the tar gzip file, it'll give you this, and looks like that's pretty much exactly what we have here. Here, I'll just put mine in instead just to be sure, because I don't deal well with details, so I'm not going to compare the two. What else? Type SHA-2. And then it's going to, and then we press return. I probably can't see the 256 here. There we go. Yeah, that's, oh, I see. If I get rid of that, if I unhover, then you see it. Perfect. All right, so it said path is, so this is where the file is. And then it gives me the hash, which is the exact same thing here. So now what do? We put that in here. SHA-256 is equal to that. All right, I think that's good. Seems right to me. Running Nix build with the new icat attribute, an entirely new issue is reported. Okay, so when we run nix build minus capital A icat, I think what happens is it'll use default.nix. It'll run that, and that'll call into this. All right, so let's do this. Nix build minus capital A icat. Come on, icat, let's believe you can do this. It's probably fetching the Git stuff right now. It gives me a chance to drink my coffee. It's like the first thing I do, this thing where every morning the first thing I try to do is like learn something or create something like this. So every time you see me, usually it's like I'm just waking up. So I'm like PJs, haven't showered, but I hope you guys will forgive me for that. All right, so it says a whole bunch of stuff. What the? Missing args. Undefined variable fetch from GitHub. Did I do this wrong? Let's see what it says here. Yeah, this is a different error. So I'm doing something wrong. Right, I am doing something wrong because I can't just type fetch from GitHub. It needs to know where it's coming from. And that is because I wasn't paying attention, and we do fetch from GitHub. There we go. Now it knows that this is going to be passed fetch from GitHub. And how do we pass that? That's because in our default.nix, we actually get this nix packages, and we're going to pass it along into icat. So nix packages is in there, and within nix packages, within this packages thing that's going into icat, we have fetch from GitHub. Is that right? I think so. Anyway, I think that's how it works. Let's continue. Where are we? We are here. So now if I run this again, this looks more like the error they have. It says, these things are deprecated. This is the fatal error, imlib2.h. No such file or directory. So it needs this header file, some C code here. I haven't coded in C in who knows how long. All right, so that's what it's going to say here. icat was pulled from GitHub, and Nix tried to build what it found, but the compilation failed due to a missing dependency, the imlib2 header. Yes. If you search for imlib2 on Nix, search nixos.org, you'll find that imlib2 is already in Nix packages. All right, let's do that. imlib2. I could have clicked on the link, I know, but I like to also make sure I know what to do. imlib2. Right, so the fact that it showed up means that it's in Nix packages. Makes sense. Add this package to your build environment by adding imlib2 to the arguments of the function in icat.nix. Oh, I see. So that's how, when it says packages call package, it's basically saying pass in the packages into icat.nix that it needs. All right, that makes sense now. So remember, packages itself is going to be this attribute set that has all the packages, right? And in here, when we're calling icat.nix, we're telling it, oh, I don't have language server. We're telling it that we want these two things. So it matches it from the packages attribute set that it has. That makes sense. All right. So what were we doing? We're going to pass in the im2 into the parameters that it wants. imlib2. We have this trailing comma just because we don't need it, but you thought it was easier. I didn't have to go back and add it here. So I guess it's just convention that it makes it a little bit easier if you edit this file later and add something. And do we need to do anything else? Add this package to the function, then add the argument value imlib2 to the list of build inputs, and in standard environment make derivation. All right. So there's a new attribute called under make derivation that we're passing called build inputs, and it is a list, and it includes the imlib2 package that we got from Nix packages. All right. You'll encounter another error. Right, we don't have to change default because the call package thing is smart enough to know how to match what we need. So we run this again. All right. It looks like it cannot find X11. So this is X Windows. We love X Windows. For Wayland people, I know you hate X Windows. Ever talk to someone who uses Hyperland and Wayland? They're so excited about it that they're almost toxic. It's probably you guys, right? But like, they're like, no, I don't have X Windows. I refuse to run X Windows. You know who I am. You know who you know who I'm referring to. You know who you are. It's the autism. I'm not very good with expressions. All right, so now it says it needs X11. Right, here we go. Another dependency is missing. Finding packages. Determining where to source the dependency is currently somewhat involved because package names don't always correspond to library or program names. We need the xlib.h headers from x11c package. Is that what it says? Yeah, xlib.h. The Nix package's derivation for which is libx11 available in the xorg package set. There are multiple ways to figure this out. First one is the search thing. That's what we used over here. The easiest way to find what you need is on search.nixos org packages. So this is the preferred way, I guess. So what happens when we search for X11? VNC server, idle, some spice, SSH, perf. Wow, this doesn't look like what we're looking for. But I bet like this is. I bet that's it. Just by limiting it to the package set. Anyway, let's see what they say. Too many irrelevant results. On the left side bar is a list package sets, and selecting xorg shows something promising. In case all else fails, it helps to become familiar with searching Nix packages source code for keywords. So that's what we did, right? We went here and found package sets. We clicked on xorg, and that gave us this. How do we know Xorg? I don't know. Like it's just a guess, right? Because I guess because all these others don't look right. So this was the first one that looked possible. Anyway, let's keep going. Local code search. To find name assignments in the source, search for keyword equals. For example, these are the search results for x11 equals or xlib equals on GitHub. Wait, where do I put this? To find name assignments in source, search for keyword equals on GitHub. Guys, is this just me not understanding how to read language? To find name assignments in the source, search for keyword equals. For example, x11 equals or lib x11 equals on GitHub. Or fetch a clone of the repository and search the code locally. So are they saying just go to GitHub and type in x11 equals? No, right? No, that's not what they're saying. Well, maybe what they're saying is, oh, Nix search. It helps to become Nix package source code. Ah, was I supposed to click on this? Oh, I see. So we go to the Nix package's source code, which is this thing. And then we type this into search. x11 equals. Do we need a space? Well, x11 equals, let's see. Path packages by name. Wait, hold on. Let's see that again. We have a space. Here we go. Something, right? Tools, servers, x11 xorg, modules, program. So we saw xorg, right? Servers, x11 xorg. So let's see what it says. Or fetch a clone of the repository. And what they meant is not, I was confused. I was like, do you mean like the iCat stuff? Or they meant Nix packages repository. So you can download the Nix packages repository and like run a grep or something like that. Ah, that's exactly what they want us to do here. So Nix shell, because I don't have, do I have Git here? I do. But do I have rip grep? No. Nix shell minus p rip grep. Alright, so now I have rip grep. So we only want to get the latest. Oops. We only want to get the latest Nix packages, and then we also only get depth 1, so we don't get all the commits that were happening before, so it should be a lot faster to download. and then we will go into Nix packages. All right, great. To narrow down, only search the packages subdirectory which holds all the package recipes. So this is the ripgrep x11 equals packages. So this is the subdirectory, I guess. All right, so we see this NVIDIA thing. Their order looks different. So they have Primus, X11 Primus, applications graphics. Since RG is case sensitive by default, add the -I to make sure you don't miss anything. Right, because it's going to look for lowercase x11 in this case. All right, we lost the color. There's probably like some color less. So Linux kernels, aliases, all packages, and then we see this libx11 equals xorg libx11. That looks pretty promising. That's this line here, right? All right. So I guess that would have told us that xorg is a pretty good package for us to look into. Search derivations on command line. Use nix locate from the nix index. Is this me or did it feel? This is like when you're watching an anime and towards the end of the series, like the budget starts getting cut and then like you see no more animation and there's just like still figures looking at each other. I'm like, to search, yeah, what do I do now? Just type nix locate. It's not even in my path from the nix index. Oh, is that like... Let's see if we can add it. Nix index. All right, there's something called nix index and nix locate. Yeah, oh, they're saying from that package. All right. From the nix index. So we're going to install nix index. And now we should have nix locate. All right. And now how do we use nix locate? Nix locate patterns for which to search, directory where it's stored. All right, so this probably can look inside of the simplest way. Just run nix part of the file path to search for all packages that contain a file matching that path. So bin Firefox will search for a file containing that. All right, so let's try that. And we needed xlib.h, right? What happened when we try to run this thing? Oh, it wasn't hello. What was it? confused. Nix build minus a icat, right. What am I? Oh, I'm in Nix packages, that's why. We needed xlib.h. So now I do nix locate xlib.h. Alright, so it didn't have the index files. So how do I give it that? Try rerunning nix index. So I guess I have to run nix index first. Alright, so it's still downloading, but let me find where I was before. Right, okay, I guess maybe this is building. Well, here I think we can like fast forward a little bit. How many of you guys actually like watch the assembly language videos that I've been making? Because my feeling is that these random videos don't actually overlap with the same people. So like if you like Nix, you don't actually want to learn 8-bit assembly language. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everyone has weird sets of interests like me, or just like find everything interesting. So I don't think this is like the method that I would suggest you use. The first one seemed pretty good. Just search on Nix packages and try to figure it out. The second one, where you go to you go to the GitHub for the Nix packages repository and you do a search there. That seems pretty good. But this one, not so good. Here's some candy. Bonbon, violette. Does this even come through? Does it sound like ASMR? Oh, what am I thinking now? I can't speak. Well, if I'm lucky, this will take 5 more minutes. So that was like 70 megabytes. Nix locate xlib.h. It's in Haskell packages. That doesn't look right. It's in xmonad. We love our monads. It's in taffy bar. Looks like there's a lot of these. But nothing here that I see where it would be, these are probably just the packages that I have, right? Oh, here it is. Xorg libx dev. So these are only packages I have because you can see it's in my Nix store already. It's kind of interesting. So I guess what this is useful for is if you already have something and you're like, oh, I wonder where that file is, then Nix locate can help you find it. But this one, we give it a big fail. Thumbs down. Don't use it to try to find the package. Let's continue as if that never happened. Adding package sets as dependencies. Add this to your derivation's input attribute set to build inputs. All right, we already have some build inputs. We have imlib2, so we're going to add xorg.libx11. Only add the top level xorg derivation to the input attribute set rather than the full xorg libx11, as the latter would cause a syntax error. Because Nix is lazy evaluated, using xorg libx11 means that it will only include the libx11 attribute, and the derivation doesn't actually include all of xorg in the build context. But only add the xorg derivation to the top input attribute set. I assume they mean here, but that's not what we want to do. Doesn't it sound like these are contradicting? Wow. All right, so this needs to be like addressed at some point too. Let us just try running it. I saved it, so we do nix build minus a icat. Undefined variable xorg. That's not what happened, right? That's not what this guy says. All right. So maybe they are right, and it should just say libx11. It doesn't know that. Oh, we have to add it here too, don't we? Oh yeah, they did. That's what they were talking about. I see. So when they said here, they meant only add the top level into the input attribute set. I see. When they said input attribute set, what they're talking about is this is a function and this is the argument that we're passing. So this is the input attribute set. All right, so that makes sense. We put the xorg in there. We don't want to put in xorg libx11 because that would be a syntax error. Okay, got it. Now that makes sense. Oops. Then we put this back to the way it was. All right, great. Unused right. No rule to make target install stop. I think that's what happened here. Right, same thing. The missing dependency error is solved, but now there is another problem. No rule to make target install stop. All right, we're almost to the end. I can tell because of this little scroll bar. And I have no more coffee, so it really is the end. Install phase. It's all in purple, so I don't really know. Oh, I see, it'll tell us. Standard environment is automatically working with the makefile that comes with icat. The console output shows that configure and make are executed without issue, so the icat binary is compiling successfully. The failure occurs when the standard environment attempts to run make install. The makefile included in the project happens to lack an install target. The README in the icat repository only mentions using make to build the tool, leaving the installation step to the users. To add this step to your derivation, use the installPhase attribute. It contains a list of command strings that are executed to perform the installation. Because make finishes successfully, the icat executable is available in the build directory. You only need to copy it from there to the output directory. All right. In Nix, the output directory is stored in the out variable. That variable is accessible in the derivation's builder execution environment. Let's see what that says. It tells us what a builder is. That's okay. We'll look at you later. Where are we? Create a bin directory within the out environment variable out directory and copy the icat binary there. All right, so let us do that. We have all of this here. And now what's changing is we're calling, there is an input install phase attribute in the make derivation attribute set. We pass it in an indented string where we're making the directory, and the environment variable out has the output directory already set, and then we copy icat to out/bin. I remember in the language tutorial, they wanted to make sure you realize that this was not an interpolated string. It's not one of these. It's not looking for a variable up here. It's actually in the shell environment. Looks good to me here. So do we get to run it again now, or should we look at it? Looks like we need to do more. Nix packages standard environment make derivations are separated into phases. Each is intended to control some aspect of the build process. Earlier, you observed how standard environment.makeDerivation expected the project's makefile to have an install target and failed when it didn't. To fix this, you defined a custom install phase containing instructions for copying the icat binary to the correct output location, in effect installing it. Up to that point, the standard environment.makeDerivation automatically determined the build phase information for the icat package. During derivation realization, there are a number of shell functions, hooks in Nix packages, which may execute in each derivation phase. Hooks do things like set variables, source files, create directories, and so on. These are specific to each phase and run both before and after that phase's execution. They modify the build environment for common operations during the build. It's good practice when packaging software with Nix to include calls to these hooks in the derivation phase you define, even when you don't make direct use of them. This facilitates easy overriding of the specific parts of the derivation later and keeps the code tidy and makes it easier to read. Adjust your install phase to call the appropriate hooks. All right, so because we're basically defining install phase, it expects to run hook pre-install and run hook post-install. We don't know how to make these hooks just yet, but it's good to put these in here because someone else may want to do it or override it. Here, let's click on override. Sometimes we want to override stuff. Yeah, so somewhere else, like in some kind of config file or whatever, you may override a package. So you can tell it, oh, I want to do something different for pre-install or post-install. And if we didn't have it, it probably wouldn't work. All right, are we ready? Running the nix build command once more will finally do what you want repeatedly. Repeatably. Call ls in the local directory to find the result symlink to a location in the Nix store. Great. We have a result, so I'm going to remove it. And we'll do nix build -a icat. Ah! Oh, that's there. It's just a warning. We're okay. I thought that we failed again. In the end, we have this icat, which should be the same thing as result. Right? Yeah. Perfect. Success. Wait, they're going to leave us there? Like, what about using icat to, like, look at an image? This is not a real ping, right? Popular curl examples. Let's just look. Maybe Google has an image that we can download. Is this an image? Oh, I thought we tried copying the link. What is this? icat is not in your path, right? It doesn't like the image being null. All right, so we'll just have to download this image. And I think, shouldn't that... output. Sorry, I don't know how to use this. Google logo.ping. Come on! Hey! How can they not tell us to do something like that and just leave us there, right? It's a sin. These are what Nix people are like. They're just like, look, we built it. It's in the package manager now. We're done. All right. So that was really great. We built something. We learned about the how to basically add libraries. We have to add them in here in the front for the input attribute parameter. And then we have to find it. We have to add the specific one down here. We learned how to use Nix packages to like search for that stuff. Where was it? Here. And using the kind of packages like X11 here, using the package sets here to kind of narrow down what we're looking for. And then we also learned how to use the Nix packages itself, the repo for Nix packages itself, to find stuff. This one. You can find that just by doing, I just type like Nix packages, GitHub will tell you like that also anytime. And then you can just do a search up here. I think that's about it. Hope that was useful to everyone. We'll continue to the next steps. Let's see what's next. Is it this? Yeah, this is what we used, but we didn't really learn how it worked. So we will find out about this. Or is this the one we already did? Well, we'll figure it out. No, it looks like we didn't do this because we didn't have like audience people and all this kind of stuff. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Subscribe and like if this was useful. There's a Discord server in the description if you have any questions or just want to chat. And we'll see you all soon. Thank you.